Hi, this is Ilma Art Studios photograph for today. That's a very nice building by Broadway, which is the main street in our town called Orangeville. So these buildings are built in the 1800s, so they've been there for almost 150 years now. Hi, how are you today? I'd like to share with you my poem devotional, which is extracted from Galatians 6 verse 8, which says that those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay and death from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. And here is my poem, which is based on that verse. Reap what you sow. Those who want to satisfy their flesh, their lives will be chaotic and a mess. To satisfy the sinful nature brings decay. It brings someone in a state of disarray. People who live to please the Spirit, they will be in constant light and never adrift. Choose to follow God's commands. This will make you surrender the world's demands. And here is essay part of the devotional. Sadly, there are many people who live their lives according to the world's standard. Some believers do not really live by the Spirit, but by their own sinful nature. If a Christian have been raised by parents who never really followed godly standards and grew up surrounded by decay, it would probably be hard to live a life following the Spirit. The Bible tells us that we reap what we've sown. It is the most basic principle that life is founded on. If you live only to satisfy your own sinful nature, you will naturally reap death. If you live to please God, then you will harvest the fruits of the Spirit, such as love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Prayer. Lord, show me how to live for you. Reflection. What do you think is the consequence of living for your own self? And that is the end of the essay in the poem devotional. But I'd just like to add some testimony regarding that verse that says that if we follow our sinful nature, naturally our lives will be in darkness. But if we follow God's Spirit, then our life will have light. And I could attest to that because for a long time I really never knew what it meant to live in the Spirit, because I was living in the flesh. In other words, I didn't see people, when I was growing up, I didn't see people living in the Spirit. They all live in the flesh. Everybody wanted to satisfy their own selves. Everybody wanted to cater to their own desires, to their goals, to their achievements and everything. So, children learn by what they see. Even if you say them something and yet they see another thing, then they will likely more follow what they see. And I just followed what I saw, and what happened was like I turned out to be very confused. And remember, confusion is not a fruit of the Spirit. So how do you know that you are living in the Spirit? Okay, the guideline is probably, it says that the fruits of the Spirit, this is according to Galatians 2:22 to 24, if I can remember right. But it's on Galatians that says that they enumerated the different fruits of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. Now, how do you know that you don't have the Spirit of God in you, or that you do not have the fruits of the Spirit? Meaning that you did not sow God's Spirit or God's teaching, so you did not reap it. So
it took me forever to actually understand what it meant to live in the Spirit, because I was living for the flesh and I was doing things on my own. Now, the time that I realized that I don't have the fruit of the Spirit is because I was bitter, I was angry, I was rebelling, I was I always gave up. I wasn't faithful to God, and I didn't have peace. I was always into a conflict. I always argue and all that stuff. So then I knew, after reading God's word, that I wasn't living it. So little by little, God has been teaching me and convicting me of the things that I should improve on, so that I will be living in the Spirit. And I'd like to invite you to do so, because you will be amazed at how much you will reap the fruit of the Spirit if you follow God's command. And that everything that was confusing before and that was very dark in your life will be enlightened by God's word, and that you will be led to a peaceful, a joyful, a loving life. And that it is a choice to do so, and it's not just like, like not giving in to your weaknesses and struggles and conflicts and everything, but you live up everything to God and let God, do your best and let God take care of the rest. Thanks for watching, and I hope you check my website at ilmaarts.com. It's ILMAARTS.com for more of my artworks and photographs. Thanks for watching.